Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and recently we did some work on the mountain, and we are actually going to return to that today because I want to keep building on it. I haven't done that in so long, it feels like, besides that one video just the other day. And so I want to return to this. I want to continue. We don't have a lot of slopes left, but I have a bunch of leftover rock panels. And so that's what we're going to be doing mostly today is the structure for that top section there. And hopefully we can get a glimpse of how tall this is actually going to end up being. So let's jump right in. All right, so coming a little bit closer to the mountain here, you can see that the whole nature area here, the farm and all this stuff is actually starting to look really, really good. And I'm very happy with how it's turning out. These trees here look fantastic. And that video was also just came out the other day. And I'm really happy with the two of these, the one there and the one there. This one was inspired by the A-frame cabin. And this one is relatively common that I've seen online, but I figured I'd try my hand at it. But these two are completely custom and really, really happy with how they turned out. I will put that video in the top right for you if you're interested in checking that video out, because those trees, there's a lot that went into them. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces. So if you guys like the look of them, I highly recommend you check that video out. But shifting our attention over to here, the water looks good, and then the mountain is the backdrop here with the train tunnel going through it. And so I want to go ahead and I want to figure this out, because as it is right now, there is a decent amount of height between the ceiling and the base of what we have so far. So there's a lot of room to work with here, vertically speaking, and I want to maximize the most of that as I can. And so I want to go in and I want to get the structure going, kind of like what we did for the underside here. It is kind of ugly with all the Duplo and the scaffolding and stuff, but I think we can make something really, really cool that is going to eventually have a bunch of slopes on it and a bunch of detail like the bottom section is, because I think this looks fantastic. And I want to continue that all the way up and then eventually have some snow-capped peaks at the top as well. So I'm going to pull this big base off of the top of the mountain here. We are going to bring this over to the build table or build station, and we are going to get started. All right, so I'm doing something that I wasn't planning on doing today, which is actually adding a cave over here. I thought I'd add one on the far end over there, but figured I would add one over here because actually I got a comment from one of my channel members suggesting that I add the cave on the left side here with the kind of plateau out front. So then I could add some figures out here, specifically the dwarves from The Hobbit, which I thought was a fantastic idea. I have all 13 dwarves, so I will happily see if I can fit all 13 on this ledge here. I think that'd be pretty funny. But seriously, huge thank you to the channel members for that. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member, the link is down in the description, or you can click the join button next to the channel name. In becoming a channel member, you get early access to videos, exclusive videos, members only updates, members only polls, and much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely consider that as well. But this is what I've been working on here. This is the cave so far. And I'm trying to use a little bit of forced perspective as well. It is kind of fast, but I want it to kind of like get shorter and shorter as it goes in to make it look deeper than it actually is, because I don't want to waste a whole bunch of pieces in here that you're never going to see. So I'm trying to make this work to the best of my ability here, and I think it's working out pretty good. I am making it kind of small, but I don't want this to be overly large, like I said. And then this is also where that other rock panel is. So this is pretty much all the space that I have in terms of width. And so that's pretty much it for this at the moment. I am just kind of working on it, and then once I'm done, I'm going to go in with gray plate and cover up the black and the medium nougat, just so everything looks the same and you're only seeing the colors that you're supposed to be seeing. So that is good. And then once I'm done, I will just add the slopes on, and then we can start working on the rock panels and stuff. As you can see, I put my remaining corner rock panels on the top here just to kind of get an idea for the slope of this. I want this to be pretty steep. I want it to be tall. And so that is where we are going with it today. So hopefully we can make that happen here. But I guess we'll see. It's only a matter of time because I have to get the structure of this down. As you can see, it's one pillar of Duplo at the moment. So there's a lot of work to do, but I wanted to get this done before I started building up. So without me talking too much, I will show you guys once this is done. All right, so I went ahead and it is pretty much done here, and I think it looks pretty good. And so as you can see, it only goes back maybe like 8 studs or so. So there's a 1x4 plate here and then another one here, and then this is pretty much the entrance to it. So it's only about 8 studs deep, and then there's a black pillar in there. I don't even know if you can see that right there where the edge of the brick separator is, right there. I put a black 1x2x5 in the back there just to kind of make it look like the tunnel is continuing. And so instead of just seeing a gray wall curving around, it's a different color to make it look like there's no light back there in the tunnel and it just keeps going. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks good. And then I built this up on the top of it as well. This is kind of flat. I don't know if I like this or not, but I guess it's okay if you kind of take a step back here. I don't think it's the end of the world, and then I can just keep building up from here. So I don't think this is the end of the world. I think this looks okay. And so now that that's done, we can get back to the point of the video, which is to build up the slopes and also the rock panels in the back here, because as this is right now, this is not doing too hot. So I have quite a bit of work to do, so we're gonna go ahead and do that right now, because otherwise I think this pillar might fall over on me. All right, so I know I said I was gonna mostly just do the base work in the back, but I wanted to get this section kind of fleshed out just because of the tunnel here, or like the cave. I wanted to at least see or get an idea as to what that's gonna look like. And having done this whole section now, I think this looks pretty good. The only thing I don't love is this indent right here, but that's not the end of the world, and I think it adds a little bit of extra depth to it as well. It makes it look like it's curving in and then back out, even when it's really not. So I think that works. I think it looks good. And then now the only thing left to do for this area is to add those dwarves in, which I will add before the end of the video. So definitely stay tuned for that. But this is turning out pretty good. And so now that this area is pretty much fleshed out over here, I want to go spin this around and work on that foundation in the back there with all the Duplo and stuff. It's going to be pretty ugly, but it is absolutely necessary if we are going to build this as tall as I want it. So without me talking too much, let me go and grab the rest of the Duplo that I have and all of the other stuff, and we can get started. All right, so I've done a little bit of work since you've last seen this, and a decent amount of time has passed as well. And so I'm pretty much just going through, and I haven't started using the Duplo yet because this stuff is kind of short in here. So just using these rounded bricks in here because I have a bunch of them. And that is where I'm at right now. This is just a marker at the moment of where I kind of want it to go. And I know I had said in, I think it was the original video where I had started the mountain, I was not going to use these injection molded ones with the dark green kind of dual molded in. I said I wasn't going to use these because you could see the dark green poking through. But at the rate that I'm going, and you can see the gap in here, you end up not being able to see any portion of the rock panel. So I'm just gonna use these, and then whatever happens, happens. I might end up putting them down here just to have a better chance of getting covered up, so I have more shelf, I guess, here to work with to kind of build up in front of it. So that's what I'll do. I have 6 of these, I think, 4, 5, and yeah, 6. I have 6 of them. So that is really, really nice to see. So that'll actually get me another layer on top of this, plus even a little bit up top as well. So that's really good. I'm happy with this. And so now let me add these in. I'm probably going to rip this up and put it on the bottom, but I haven't really done much yet. So this is going to be an easy fix, and then can add these in, and then we can move on. All right, so I went ahead and I added in the dual molded rock pieces down here, and I think that looks pretty good. It's kind of interesting actually with these pieces that they're all slightly different. So that's just how they were molded and how the plastics were inserted into it. But this is what it looks like from the back here. So it's not a lot yet, just because I don't have enough rock panels. I completely ran out, which is why I ended up using these to begin with. And so I'm going to have to order some more. And so this is kind of how the height that we're working with right now. And so we kind of take a step back here. I think that's looking pretty good. And then once we get all the slopes on the front of this, it's going to look even better as well. So I'm happy with this. I think this looks good. And this Duplo is here for when we expand upwards. So I'm just going to leave it as is for the time being, and we can always add more. And I also went ahead and I added all of the dwarves in over here, like I said I was going to do. So once again, huge thank you to the channel members for that suggestion. I think this is a great idea, but there's just too many of them, it seems. And there is a lot of them over here. I do have them all, which is nice, and they do technically fit, but I don't want to overcrowd this area, so I have to figure that out. But I just wanted to at least see if they'd fit, and so they do. And so maybe I'll just put a fraction of them here, like maybe half of them, and then the other half I will figure something else out to do with them. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think this looks good, and yeah, it does look like there's a lot of them up here, so maybe that is not the best spot for them all. But I'll try and take a couple of them out and see if I can make this look any better. All right, so I took a couple of them out here, and I think this looks a lot better. So let me give you guys that same angle. And I think that looks a lot nicer. To be honest with you, it doesn't look as crowded. So that's good. That is much, much better. And I also went in and I fixed up this section right here because there was a little bit of a divot in there. So I fixed that up and I added a bunch of quarter round tiles and other small plates and things. And I think this is starting to shape up really nicely here. And I think that really, really helps add to it. I also did a couple other smaller things around here as well. Like I added some foliage and things like that, but I'm happy with that. And I also added the remaining figures right there. So the 4 that I had to take out were Bofer, Feely, Keely, and Oin. So the 4 of them are down at the end there. And so that is pretty much it. I think that having all of these guys over here, the 10 of them, I think looks good. And I am pretty happy with that. So once again, thank you to the channel members for that suggestion. That was really, really awesome. But that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. We did a decent amount of work on the mountain today, and I'm pretty happy with it. I do need to go in and place a few more orders for the rock panels and all of the slopes, and then the supporting brick and the Duplo I should have enough of. So I guess we will see about that, and also the white slopes for when we get really, really high up. But the white slopes are a later problem, but I have a little bit of work to do on the back end for that. So that's where today's video is going to end. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what I did, make sure to like the video and subscribe, as well as click the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads. If you guys have any feedback for me on the placement of the dwarves and also anything else regarding this area, make sure to drop a comment down below to let me know what you think. But seriously, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.